I'll let you know when he's ready. What is it? Is it tall?
No, it is.
Oh.
It's gonna fall off. It's like not off.
What the heck?
That's weird.
It's not gonna work.
All right, let me see if I can pull up the channel here. Just make sure that looks okay. All right, perfect. So you guys can see some of the slides on here now too.
All right.
I can order another stand.
All good to go?
Yep.
All right, cool.
If I touch it, it's going to literally fall. It's like it's not screwed in. It's
At
just
all?
No, it's just like on there.
Scott Stapp it did.
All right. And oh wait.
Unless you want to hold up. Unless you want to use that. I mean.
Do it live.
You got 2 drinks, huh, Dan?
I got 2 drinks.
I got 2
and one of them,
drinks.
the way this microphone's going, should be alcoholic. I should be drinking some sodas over here, some silver sodas.
All right. Here we go. Going live in 3, 2, and 1.
What is going down, everyone? It's time for Mojobreak.com's The Hype, episode number 151. Thanks for joining us. You can find this show on any of your podcast networks, and its main home is the Mojobreak Media channel, so make sure you subscribe there. We got a lot to talk about on this show. We're going to talk about the Trout $4 million sale and what player can possibly top that going forward. We're also going to have a buy-sell talk on some of the upcoming players, some of the hot players. Should you buy? Should you sell? We're going to do a little roundtable discussion on that. And we're going to start off the show talking about Bowman Transcendent. But first things first, what's going down, C-Rad?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's safe out there.
Dan, how's it going?
What up? Just fighting through adversity.
I hear you there. Well, we've got Bowman Transcendent breaking today. It's the inaugural year of Bowman Transcendent. It carries a price tag of $22,000 per case. They've made 100 cases of it, so it's going to go pretty quick. You're only going to see it on Breakers channels for a couple weeks, and then it's going to be gone, and we're going to be waiting for the next Transcendent set. But this one's a little different because in prior years, they've done just legends and vets and upcoming rookies. This is focused on the prospects. So you've got your big names, Jason Dominguez, Bobby Witt Jr. You've got rookies, big rookies. You've got a possibility of Fernando Tatis Superfractor. So it's all about the youth. And I think this set has a lot of potential. Unlike Transcendent, where you get a Jose Canseco auto or a Pedro Martinez auto, there's nothing that Pedro Martinez or Jose Canseco can do to up the value of their cards. So as you can see here on the slide, we've got the base card design. There's going to be 50 base cards, and those are all going to be prospect-based. You got your Wander Franco, you got your Luis Robert, you've got Adley Rutschman, Joey Bart, all these upcoming stars. The auto checklist is star-studded as well. As you can see with Bo Bichette, Jason Dominguez, these are some photos from actually Rich Layton's breaks. So he did some this morning, and those are some of the cards that he pulled. And then you've got your cut autos and your superfractors. So Jason Dominguez, 1955 Bowman superfractor design. There's one superfractor in every case. So it could be one of the guys in the set. Pretty good checklist. You could check that out at Topps' websites. They have the buyback, and then they also have these cut autos, and the cut auto checklist is pretty amazing. There's a lot of big names on it. There's Babe Ruth. I believe there's Ty Cobb, Honus Wagner, Jerry Garcia. Lots of big cuts. I believe the Jerry Garcia was already pulled. So you're looking at a break that has, the way we're doing it today, 85 spots, $229. Everybody's guaranteed something. And there's a lot of items that are going to be worth a lot more than the spot. You got the invitation to the Bowman party, which another breaker's offering to pay $5,000 for that invitation. That is a thing that you get to hang out with one of the players. You get a special set. You get special packs. Really cool event. Topps is obviously waiting to announce that once kind of COVID dies down or they find a way to do it. Then you have the Superfractor that's obviously going to be worth more than the spots. You have the one-of-one guarantee of either Vlad or Jordan that's going to pay for the spot. And then some of the prospects are going to do very well too. Jason Dominguez, Bobby Witt, Adley Rushman. Pretty good set. It's a little cheaper. It's about $5,000 cheaper than your regular Transcendents. And I've watched a couple breaks, and it looks pretty awesome. So get your spots. What's your guys' thoughts on Bowman Transcendent?
I like how it went over to the Bowman brand. Now, this is year 4 of Transcendent, and they have been coming out with more Transcendents, more variations of it. I think there's a Hall of Fame Transcendent that came out. There's the regular Transcendent that's coming out still. There's a Jeter Transcendent. There's the WWE Transcendent. There's a tennis Transcendent. I think it's going a little overboard with the Transcendent category. I would like for them, and again, this is me personally, to revamp the content that's in the case. I think they put a huge value on the sets. In the regular Transcendent, there's the base set, and there's also the sketch set, and they're numbered to. It depends on how many of the cases they would make every year. But I think they put too much. They put too much of a value on those, and I don't think the casual collector sees the value in each individual card.
Yeah.
So I would actually like for them to do away with the base sets and maybe start doing some very unique jumbo memorabilia pieces, maybe bat knobs, bat plates. Stuff that they did with like the mint when they had like the batting glove cards and stuff like, and they also did the with the Ichiro Ohtani Transcendent, they did the oversized framed auto relic, which I thought was very cool and unique. So I think they need to go through and maybe revamp it. I think it's getting a little stale at this point. Especially with the regular Transcendents. The Bowman one kind of is going to stand on its own. It's the first time we've seen it, but the regular Transcendents, we know how they break down.
Yeah.
We go through every single base card, and there's nothing exciting. And the auto subjects, every case is exactly the same.
Well, and that's what I love about Bowman Transcendent is if you're doing it next year, you have a whole new round of players you can throw in there. And I think the thing for me, and I've always been a Bowman guy, that's my bread and butter when it comes to collecting, is that there's still hope. You may get a guy that's 15, well, let's hope they're at least like $50, $60 in auto now, but like, what if the guy becomes an ex Tatis? Then it's gone quite up significantly, and it's the first Bowman Transcendent set. So, the first Bowman Transcendent set usually holds its weight over the years, as you see with the Prism. First Prism, you could get a no-name Prism basketball, and it's the first year, so it holds some weight. So that's what I like about it, that, Pedro Martinez isn't in there for the 5th time. There's the young guys, the new guys. Now, 10 years from now, maybe 90% of these guys may not be good. Maybe it's a really good rookie class, and 50% of them are good, but I think the hope is what I love. Is the fact that I get a Transcendent auto from a break or a Transcendent base card that, for one, they're only numbered to 100 on the base cards, and they're only numbered to 25 on the autos. So you have a limited item of a guy that has huge potential. That's my thoughts.
And I actually think it works well with the prospects, like what you were saying, with the legends and Hall of Famers and the vets, and they sprinkle in some rookies with the regular Transcendent as well. There's only so much they can do. You gotta get David Ortiz in the set. You gotta get Wade Boggs in the set. You gotta get Don Mattingly in the set. You gotta get Randy Johnson and we've gone 4 years of having literally, with the exception of a couple rookies here and there, the same auto checklist for 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
What separates each Transcendent from itself? There's not much. That's why I like the Bowman Transcendent, is because it's a crop of autographs that we have not seen in this set yet.
Right. Absolutely. And C-Rat, what's your thoughts on Bowman Transcendent and Transcendent as a brand?
Obviously, I do like what you say about the Bowman mixing it up and not. Yeah, you guys are right. You guys are spot on about the legends that no longer can technically do anything to up their value, but with Bowman, it's always it's a waiting game. So that is nice. I agree that regular Transcendent, sorry, not Bowman Transcendent, but regular Transcendent has been stale. I've been watching. We've been breaking it for I've been with you guys 3-4 years now. I've been watching you guys break it every single year, and yeah, it's pretty much the auto subject is you see the same joints over and over. I wonder, because Topps obviously sees that it is successful. They don't make a lot of cases of it with 80 to 100 a year or whatever Transcendent they're coming out with, and I think maybe with wrestling and some of these other tennis, whatever you said, they might be lower than that, lower case numbers. I wonder if they're thinking about coming out with something even more expensive than Transcendent. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm surprised and that they haven't. I know we had Eminence for basketball, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Panini hasn't done something where they could have you. I mean, imagine having a party and being able to hang out with Zion, or being able to hang out with Giannis, or being able to hang out with KD. I mean, you could do a Transcendent style party for basketball right off the dome for the next 10 years. You could name them all in a row.
That's true.
Right?
That's
you
true.
You don't even have to do rookies. You could just do Lillard one year.
Shaquille,
Yeah.
KG.
And those, it almost seems like that would be a little. And I'm surprised it's a copycat industry that Panini hasn't thought about doing something like that.
Yeah.
And you could do it. I know. I know they did Kobe Eminence, and that's obviously an iconic set, especially after the tragedy. But you could do it where it's a player theme, but then have the autos and the game use and cut autos for basketball. There could be huge cut autos. Wilt Chamberlain, George Mikan, so Pistol Pete. You open that up, and I'm surprised that Panini hasn't, and maybe they will. But I think that would be a better market with better upside than, say, baseball. You could do so many things with logo mans. They could, I know we don't want to drown out the logo man market, but if they made it where each basketball Transcendent, I'm only saying that, but we know it won't be named Transcendent, but let's just use that for the purpose of what we're talking about. They could put one logo man guaranteed in every case.
Well, what if they did a Bowman Transcendent where it was only X amount of items, but they got rid of the base set, and they did it as solely a Bowman first buyback, and you put Trout buyback, you put Tatis buyback, you put some of the marquee prospects that are current, and you put that as a 10-item box, and it's all buybacks. You call it the Transcendent Buyback Bowman Edition.
Yeah, I mean,
you give them an idea. I think it's something down the line where that definitely makes sense. But how long have they been having Bowman as a brand, a first Bowman prospect?
I believe 98 was the first
year?
one.
So solid.
Correct me if I'm
20 years
wrong
already.
in the chat. I believe it's 98 as far as the first Bowman. Now, of course, Bowman, we have 49 Bowman, 50, back in the day.
Yeah.
But when it started doing the first Bowman, I believe it was around 98, and really didn't start picking up until Trout or until Ichiro and Pujols came out around the same year. That kind of gave it some legs, and then I think Strasburg, obviously, in 2010. And then, we've had Trout, we've had Harper, we've had Chris Bryant, we've had Acuna, we've had Soto, we've had Luis Robert, all these guys. The list goes on, and it just keeps growing every year. You can see it on the price tag. If those guys that are around buying Bowman in 2010, you were getting hobby boxes for like $120, $130. Now you're not sniffing anything under $200-$300 for a Bowman box. You can just see the popularity and see what these cards are going for. But
You can get Bowman hobby boxes back in the day for like $70.
that's true. Yeah, 70, 80
I mean,
bucks, under
not,
100 bucks.
when I say back in the day, I mean like 5-6 years ago. You could find the
I know, not that
you
long.
can you can find like 2008 Bowman or I mean 2010 Bowman Chrome up until a couple of years ago was still readily available for like
Yep.
$50-$60.
Yep, until I think Altuve really picked up, right? So, and then was it Gary Sanchez in that one as well?
Gary Sanchez.
So, but the cut auto design this year, I know Transcendent has always kind of had weird looking cuts because they were always kind of not fitting in that big window. I know where Dan's going with this. I'm actually a fan of it. I actually like it. It's the 55 Bowman design. You can see it says color TV.
I was kind of confused. I wasn't sure what that was.
Yeah, it's a 55. Well, the 55 Bowman design is typically that, right? So they actually built a cabinet around it to make it fit. I know where Dan's going with it,
I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be nice today.
but I like the fact that you've seen some Transcendent cut autos that are like sideways and there's so much white and it just this way, you could make the argument that maybe it should just be a regular card size because that looks like this Dwight Eisenhower that we're showing here would fit. It would probably fit on a regular card. But I think it's cool. Color TV speaks to the year 55 Bowman when Color TV was like, I think what was that around? When did The Wizard of Oz come out? Wasn't The Wizard of Oz one of the first color movies that came out?
1929.
No. Well, maybe they redid it. But the color TVs were big, obviously, in 55, so that's why you see it on the card. I think some of us remember some of these big wood TVs, even in the 80s. I think some, like my grandparents had this huge, like 700-800 pound TV that was just all wood and a little screen on it. So.
Console TV.
Console? Is that the?
I think it's a console TV.
Do you remember seeing any of those?
I might have seen them at some people's houses growing up, yeah, but not too many memories in them the old joints.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you come up with design, you don't hit it out of the park.
What's your thoughts on it? I love it.
That's it.
You just don't.
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice.
So
And
it's
be
like a single.
I'm like
double?
sometimes when you come up with a design, not everything's a home run.
Is it a inside the park home run?
It's just it is what it is. It's
Also, sometimes when you don't
guess.
update Nightbot, you also don't hit a home run either. So, but anyways, let's talk Trout card Superfractor 2009 Superfractor 1 of 1 Mike Trout, one single baseball card, sold for $4 million, close to $4 million. I bump it up. It's close enough. C-Rad. I mean, me and Cody talked about it on Monday during the baseball podcast, which check out on Mojobreak Media channel on YouTube. But what were your initial thoughts when you seen that this card sold for $3.93 million?
For me, the knowing that this sold for almost $4 million, it was just kind of like, to be honest, it was kind of just like, that's what it feels like, like we're in that climate right now in the hobby. Cards go for millions of dollars now, you know what I mean? Especially after the LeBron sale. So for me, it didn't, take me back that much. It was just like, okay, I know that card sold for $400K 2 years ago from, obviously Vegas Dave bought the card for $400K. And back then, I swear, like, we thought that was just the most insane amount of money, right?
I know. I wanted to go through the hype. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
And I want to know what our optics were at that time because I'm pretty sure we were like, "There's no way you can make money on that."
Exactly. And so to be where we're at now, and just for me to hear that it sold for $4 million, I was like, "Oh, cool." That it's a complete opposite reaction, but it's like I said, it's the climate that we're in right now. It's hard for me to understand still as more of a basketball collector. It's hard for me to understand why somebody like Trout would go for more than like LeBron, the LeBron. Well, I guess the LeBron isn't technically a 1 of 1. If it was a LeBron Logo Man 1 of 1 rookie patch auto,
I was gonna say
we might have seen a different number.
now what the cards are going for. Let's say the exquisite logo man 1/1 RPA goes on the auction block. That has to be a $10 million card, right?
Yeah, that's gonna break. That should shatter the.
That has to be a $10
Technically,
million
it should
card.
shatter the
Because
Trout.
it's safe to say that Mike Trout is great, but he is not LeBron James. He doesn't have the appeal
or the accolades
and the championships that
in the respective sports.
And that's what makes baseball different. That baseball doesn't matter how many championships you won in the card game, that is.
Mm-hmm.
In the card value game and who's collecting who, it does not matter how many championships you win. Now for the NBA, it absolutely matters how many championships you win. So I think same thing with the NFL. You can see with Tom Brady. The guy that sells the most in football current is the guy that has the most Super Bowl rings. That's Tom Brady. But the guy that sells for the most in baseball doesn't have a ring. The guy that has 3 rings, Buster Posey, I know you guys are like, oh, I should bring up Buster Posey again, is the guy has 3 championships and he sells for less than a guy that almost lost a game last night who barely knows how to catch, who's had, 20 at bats.
You may be able to put all of Buster Posey's autographs in the market together, and it would not equal the price of the $4 million Mike Trout card.
It's very true. I'm not going to even dispute that. That's the baseball market. When I saw this, and I think we briefly talked about it going up, I knew that it would go over $1 million. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was $2 million, $4 million. I am absolutely surprised. I want to know who bought it. I mean, Vegas Dave, a lot of people hate his face. He's one of those guys that if you played him a game of something, he would just rub it in your face the whole time. He's one of those guys that probably doesn't let you talk, doesn't care about what you do at all. At least that's how he comes off. He's not going to offer you a place to sleep. He's not going to ever bring in your groceries. He's going to be the guy that's just telling you how great he is. And I know the line of business he in is betting, and he wants to look like the best, and I get that. That's the facade he's putting on. But man, I mean, he did just do the biggest flip in the history of flipping that may not ever be topped. We may not ever be able to say.
That was a quick flip, 2 years.
2 years. I mean,
that was a quick flip.
How does the guy in Taiwan feel right now that sold it for $400,000? I want to know how he feels. Hopefully, he turned off the media and does not know about it. We'll never know about it, but I'm sure he does. But what were you thinking, Dan? $4 million.
I would like to go back to the archives because it probably went something like this. We were all talking about how much it was, $400,000 out of his mind. I probably was like, you know what? I can see this card going up about 10 times and being worth about
what does he have to do
being worth about
$1 million?
Being worth about $4 million. I think I probably called it if we go back to the archives. Without a doubt. No, but all
your name's
seriously,
not Upper Dan. It's Downer Dan.
I'm pretty sure if we go back, I was screaming that he was out of his mind and he just threw away.
I think we all were that.
$500,000.
I think general consensus was that how can this go up?
So the one thing that I take out of it is I'm just gonna go swoop up every Derek Carr card possible because Vegas Dave. How does he do it?
How does he do it?
Derek Carr, millions of dollars on the table just for the taking right now. So go get your Derek Carrs.
Contenders and
bro, you guys, I don't have to say much. You guys know my love for all Oakland teams and my quarterback. I love Derek Carr, but I don't know if I believe him that much, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if
you don't love him for $1 million.
Yeah, I don't know if I love him that much, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas Dave, it's just crazy. And like I said, I would like to know who bought this. Can we find out at some point? I know it's, there's an anonymous factor. It's a $4 million card. You don't want to know where this card's going, But I want to know because there's rumors. I think C-Rad was kind of saying that maybe Dave shill bidded his own card.
I think he bought his own card.
I bet somebody who bought it is in the card industry. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. I'm not speculating. It wasn't me. I didn't buy it. But Doug may have bought it. I didn't buy it.
That statement was almost like, I bet whoever bought it has $4 million.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Not
They-
anymore.
They have a Mike Trout superfractor. They had $4 million.
God, and it's a 9 too. And I know it's a superfractor, but the fact that if I was to spend $4 million on a card, which I never will in my life, I would want it to at least be a 9.5. I think that 9 would be like, man, I spent $4 million and it's a 9.
But I mean, couldn't you see it being purchased by maybe somebody who runs a manufacturer, maybe who another person who runs like an auction house? I know you were saying maybe the Arizona Diamondbacks owner, who's a big card collector. I think that doesn't really fit into his collection.
Yeah,
He's more of a vintage collector. But I don't know. I mean, could it have been?
I'm sure he bid it on it. The Arizona.
I mean, I don't understand how the auction works though. Like, Golden Auction was the one who auctioned it off, right?
Mhm.
Vegas Dave can't go and be like, put me down for $3.5 million. Like,
No.
you can't do, like, right? You cannot do that.
I think you can set a reserve.
But saying that he shill bidded, I don't think he
But-
can act, unless he
He
basically
could have his homie.
yeah, unless he like had his wife or his somebody he knows bid on it.
What if? Yeah, Jason brings up a good point in the chat. What if Trout bought it?
Well, he has money. He
he's
has
got a lot of money.
He has the money to buy it.
But I have it hard to believe.
But I think they actually had an interview and they asked him about it. And I mean, of course, I don't think he's going to be like, well, I don't. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if people know that he bought his card. But I don't think he would buy his own card.
If he's not a known collector, I would say that's maybe not.
I have to, and I think that somebody in the sports card industry that owns a business related to sports cards did not buy it. That's my opinion.
Okay, and I don't know really
Because
know. I don't know much about.
PSA just came out with their revenue for the year. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's like 70 million.
Yeah. So do you think that's a really good year? So do you think that somebody's going to take a $4 million and make an investment on something that's just one card that they'll never be able to monetize?
Okay. Well, how about this? We got done talking about Rally
Road.
Road,
maybe that.
old Rally Road.
Old Town Road.
What if they bought it?
And they're doing
Well,
shares?
And they're doing shares, but what if it? I mean, they buy it as like inventory,
Right.
and they're going to be able to flip it right away as soon as they put it up for many shares they're going to put it up as. So it could have been a company like that. When I said it was somebody in the industry, that's what I was basically thinking.
I
wasn't basically saying the person who bought this card was somebody who had at least $4 million.
It was probably Sports Card Nutsack on Twitter. They might have bought it.
It's a big. Maybe it was Marky Mark,
Could have been Dirk Diggler.
but I don't know, man. Who do you think it was? Let's play the speculation game. Who do you think it was, Doug?
Who do you guys think in the chat? I heard the Trout. I don't know. I don't think it's Brian Gray, for one. I can't rule out Trout. I mean, I don't know if he's into having pictures of himself, paying $4 million for a picture and an autograph of himself, which he could just do.
What if it's LeBron?
That would be a good story.
Because he did say that he had some of his own exquisite RPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's collecting. Maybe he saw that and he's like, I love Mike Trout. Mike Trout is the LeBron of baseball.
What about Ben Baller? Ben Baller loves Trout, Southern California guy.
That's true, but Ben Baller isn't a card collector at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know he did an awesome, Trout.
Yeah,
card,
he has a lot of collectible things, but cards are not one of them.
Yeah, he does the dolls that we were talking about, right? The big dolls. I don't know. Who do you guys think?
Could it have been a large online retailer? Could it have been a large card shop? Could it have been a distributor? I don't know why they would need it, but it's an asset.
I think it's a CEO, just like the similar situation. The guy that bought the LeBron for over $1 million was a CEO of whatever that, I forget what the company was, but it was a publicly traded company. It was a large company.
Could have been Mark Cuban.
Could have been Mark Cuban. What about all these investors like Gary V?
You think it was could it be Gary V?
Could be Gary V. He does buy only 9s, so it would fit right into it.
Gary V's more of a because like obviously
flip,
I
right?
follow him a lot. Yeah, like he's more of a ground level type of guy. He's not a type of guy that will go and spend It doesn't feel to me like he would go and spend.
You telling me buying that card at $4 million isn't getting it at the ground level?
No.
That
Real quick flip life. The flip life. So, interesting scenario, and it just furthers this boom that we're going on. I mean, when we were talking about the LeBron $1 million card, all three of us never thought in our lifetime we'd see a modern card sell for $1 million in just a few short months, maybe even less than a month. We have a $4 million card.
Mm-hmm.
A $4 million card that was made 11 years ago out of a $70 hobby box that was pulled, and a guy that's never won a championship. I mean, this is just crazy. And if you talk to people that don't collect baseball cards, they probably won't believe your story. Obviously, it's been floating on Sports Center, and there's obviously that info. But you just talk to somebody that's not watching the news and is not in tune to what's going on, they're not going to believe you that one single baseball card sold for $4 million.
I watched you open up a box of that when it came out that you paid like $70 for.
Yeah, I didn't get a Trout. So.
You did not. And we were talking about it, I think it was Monday night.
Yep.
And let's say, for instance, Doug did pull the Superfractor Mike Trout out of that box at that time, and you could chime in, disagree with me, whatever. I just, I've known you a long time. I think Doug probably would have flipped that card for $1,000.
Yes. Yeah, I would have. Sadly.
Yes. Yeah. No problem. Like, no problem. I mean,
that would have been a huge amount of money.
Yeah. And I would have been like, oh my God, you just got $1,000 for a piece of cardboard. I'd be like, Doug needs a parade. Like, I'm like, you're amazing. I wish if that happened, I mean, it would be a story for the ages.
That's all I would be talking about every day.
Every hype episode would be.
Actually, every break that would go live and go, hey, remember that time I pulled the Mike Trout Superfractor and sold it for $1,000?
I mean, I did. You guys do hear me talk. Some of these OG customers talk about that. I bought a 2009 Bowman Sterling mini box, which at the time Bowman Sterling was 6 mini boxes to a master box, had 3 autos, so it had 18 autos in the case. But I bought a mini box for $50, and I got a 2009 Bowman Sterling Trout auto. And I was like, I think the guy at the card shop that I went into later was like, hey, that's a pretty good car. I heard it's pretty good. You got to remember, in 2009, Trout was like, what, late 20th, not 20th round, like in the late 20s, the Angels drafted. It wasn't first round pick or anything. So I actually sold that card for, I think, $50. So, I mean, if you look at it now, it's like $5,000 or $6,000 card. So that goes right in tune with me. If I did pull that Superfractor, probably would have sold it. And I think 99% of us would have, because especially at that time, I mean,
you don't know.
I want to know how many hands the Trout Superfractor actually went through, though.
Right.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know if the person from Taiwan who sold it for $400,000, if it was pack pulled by him. Mm-hmm. He could have bought it from somebody else who bought it from somebody else. It could have been. It could have been 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Like, somebody may have sold that Mike Trout at one point for $1,000.
Could have been.
Or they could have traded it for somebody that they PC'd.
I would love to see the history of that. And we were talking about that during the breaks on Monday, the history of it. But back to 2009. In 2009, if we had a $100 card, that was a lot for me. I was like, oh, that card's $100. I mean, now we're in the day where, LeBron 11th year, 12th year base cards are selling for $100, where it's like a $100 card is nothing. It's like a common card now. So it's just crazy how things have changed. Along with the Trout, Golden set a company record with its 2-day elite auction. Bidders spent $14 million at Golden auction over the weekend, snapping up everything from Babe Ruth to Zion Williamson's shoe. The record-setting 2-part elite auction concluded on Sunday, grossing about $14 million in sales for 359 lots. That is crazy. That is like car show numbers, not car show, like what you see on TV when those cars are rolling through. You see $500,000 bids. We're talking about sports cards, not sports cars. That is crazy. $14 million. And I don't know what their rake is, but Golden Auctions has got to be doing pretty dang good.
Yep.
I mean,
I would say it has to be at least
10%?
10% minimum, right?
So then they made $1.4 million over the weekend then. Doing pretty well.
That ain't bad.
Auction companies.
I mean, there's no even overhead, right? I mean, besides your website and, but how do you, I wonder, that's the other question. Before we move on to who's next, I want you guys to think, who's next? Is there anybody out there that Superfractor or most valuable card can top the Mike Trout card? So who's next? Which is also going to be doing a giveaway based on that as well. But what I was going to say is 14 million at Golden Auctions, right? So it's just a crazy thought. Like, how do you ship that card out? Does somebody have to pick that up? I mean, you have to, right? You cannot trust old FedEx or USPS on that one, right?
First class, baby. First class.
PWE.
PWE forever stamp.
I mean,
What do you mean no signature?
We've had somebody pick up a $20,000 card because we didn't want to ship it. I can't even imagine
I think
$4 million.
if you're gonna spend $4 million, you probably have a plane that you can
A
charter,
personal assistant you can send.
private jet that you're gonna be able to charter to go out there and pick it up.
Yeah.
I would think, or you are near Golden Auctions, or you know somebody who's gonna pick it up on your behalf. I don't know. Like, probably not shipped. I would say out of the 359 lots that they had, there was probably 50 to 60% of those were probably picked up in person.
Yep.
True. I mean, and then, so say you are the person. Say you don't have an assistant to pick it up. I mean, because I probably wouldn't trust the assistant with it, because if they get mugged, then I would really be sad. So now you go and you meet Mr. Golden. He shakes your hand. You got the Trout.
Mr. Auction.
Mr. Auction. Yeah. His first name's Golden, right?
First name's Golden.
Oh, okay. So
Last name's Auction.
So you meet Mr. Auction. What do you do with it then? Do you put it in the little pocket there? Do you put it in your bag? I mean, like, I wouldn't be able to function in society knowing that I have something on me that's worth $4 million. That at any point somebody can maybe rip from my hands with a gun, could beat me up. I could lose. I could go to the bathroom and leave my bag somewhere. How do you safely?
I know. You contract like a Brinks truck. You basically you
For
basically
one card?
you hire like a Brinks truck with armed guards to drive you there
To the airport.
to the airport and to
Mr. Auction's
Mr.
house.
Mr. Auction's house.
Mr. Auction's. Kelp says, take some photos and head to the safety deposit box. Yes, but assuming that the person, like, let's just say, I don't know where Golden Auctions is based out of, but like say they're based in Texas and you're in New York, you have to fly, and then you're going to have to either put the card in your luggage, put the card on your person.
I'm not my.
You're lucky.
I'm not gonna be like, here you go, Southwest.
You probably ain't flying Southwest though either.
Here you go, Spirit.
Yeah. You got to hang on to the wing of the plane and hold on to your card at the same time. I know this is a weird things to think about, but these are legit like things that you have a $4 million item
but again,
on
like,
you.
honestly, like the person who bought that, like $4 million probably doesn't mean as much to them as it does us.
I don't know. I don't even care if I had a couple $billion.
But you don't know. You don't know.
This is $4 million.
You don't know that until you have a couple $1 billion.
I will never probably have $1 billion, but I would still consider a $4 million item.
But if you're living that lifestyle, I don't.
Yeah. Maybe if you were born with a lot of money, maybe you don't look at money the same. But I was not born with a lot of money, so something. But then there's maybe with this guy's like a huge Trout thing, and this is priceless to him. He would have paid $10 million to get it, so now he's got to travel with it and worry about it, and just I don't know. Dude, that would just drive me crazy knowing where it is at all times. You know?
I would probably go pick it up in person. I don't think I would fly.
You would drive it?
I'd probably drive it.
Yeah, I would feel more comfortable driving too. What do you think, C-Rad? How would you do it?
Oh man, I'd fly with it, but I'd have obviously I have to keep it with me at all times.
Like
whatever.
when you go through security checkpoint, you're gonna have to put it in the bin.
Yeah, that's right.
Like how about that?
That is stressful.
You're just like somebody's like grabbing your bin. You're all, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, maybe you do that. Well, I heard it's pretty cheap nowadays to get that that Uber jet, that jet thing that you can get. You can walk out onto the.
It's all. I mean,
you don't have to go through TSA that way. I don't think.
I think it's safe. I think it's safe to say whoever bought it probably has transportation.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I was gonna say.
So
if you have $4 million for the Trout, first of all, you're not going through TSA probably. You know what I'm saying?
You're not gonna put the Trout in like one of the little plastic bins. It's gonna go through the X-ray machine.
with your wallet.
Yeah,
and your
with
phone.
my wallet, my phone,
You
my
have the
belt,
strap
my
on
belt,
the phone.
my belt, my
on your
shoes.
wallet.
You know, you basically put the slab inside your shoe.
Yeah.
So no one can see
you
it.
have it sticking out, so
Yeah.
people can see it, like it's going through. But no, yeah. If you have $4 million for this card, I can't imagine. If I had $4 million and I bought this card, and you know I'm that type of person with that type of money, I'm obviously keeping it with me at all times, and I'm flying private, and I'm pulling up in my Rolls Royce to the private, you know, strip, and I'm hopping in my private jet with all my honeys in there, and I'm getting out of there, bro.
But there's no chance that a guy like worked his whole life, saved $5 million. He's got $5 million in the bank, and he's like 78 years old.
And this is like he's like, this is
and
it.
this is it. Like I just wanted the best baseball card of the modern era, and he just spent 90% of his wealth to buy this card. There's no
Or
chance.
it's somebody who won like, you know, $10 million on like a Powerball ticket. And we're like, I'm gonna go ahead and buy this Mike Trout.
Because it's a great investment.
It's a good investment.
Or-
Got in at the ground floor.
I've been watching some Ozark lately. Is there maybe a big company doing some money laundering? You know, you got to show that you bought something, you spent your money on something. Could be the case.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. Never know. You can't
You
rule it
never
out.
know.
All right, so we're gonna move on to who's the next. Can there be somebody out there that has a card that has a 101, whether it be a Logo Man, whether it be a Superfractor? Is there a player that can top this Mike Trout sale? And we're going to run a giveaway on this. We do have the Topps Chrome giveaway that we will announce the winner on Monday. We'll do a random for that for the Topps Chrome comment giveaway. But this one's going to be for $100 break credit. We want to comment on this video on the Mojobreak Media channel, not on the Mojobreak main channel. Once it gets uploaded to the Mojobreak Media channel, comment on who do you think there's a chance that could break Mike Trout's record of the sale. So, you know, you have Zion, you got Mahomes, you got Soto, you got LeBron, and Tatis is some of the up and coming names. So, what do you think? Is there a chance that any of these guys can top the $4 million Mike Trout sale?
Yeah, I think we already talked about it. LeBron James, exquisite Logo Man.
I don't think there is one though.
But there was Logo Mans in that product.
Not autographed Logo Mans though. And I don't think there was a LeBron James. I believe Carvin told me they did not use the Logo Mans that year for that reason. They were just focused on the RPAs. So
That's interesting.
I think the number to 23 is the grail.
Is
of that.
the Grail card.
Yeah.
So they didn't put Logo Mans in that set at all.
I think there's 3 of them, but they're not rookie ones.
So second year LeBron Logo Man would be the LeBron Logo Man to get.
Okay, well,
But I still would say LeBron is at the forefront of that list too.
yeah.
To
I mean,
top
I
the-
actually,
to
well,
top
what
that
about
price-
if
price
the
point.
how about the LeBron
Superfractor?
20? Well, the 23 of 23, LeBron exquisite.
Yeah.
That would be considered probably the most valuable card. I think that can sell for more than $4 million.
And his Chrome card has a Superfractor version of it, right? From
No.
No,
No?
I don't think so.
they didn't do
Just the 50.
Super.
I think they just did.
not.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
they just did gold.
So that's where we've missed the boat through some of the older years of the products. That's why the Mike Trout is benefiting because
That's why
Mike
nobody
Trout.
ever talks about the Superfractor of LeBron. That's why nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be like a $1 billion.
100, 500. That's what
Billion.
1,000 million.
1,000 million.
I'm trying to find out. I'm going through the checklist just to see what Logo Mans were in the 03-04.
But probably, and if you're right, if there was nothing lower than a parallel to 23, then you would got to say the 23 out of 23 would be the most
Okay.
valuable.
So there is 3 Logo Mans, and I believe they've been pulled, but they're not autographed. There's a LeBron Kobe,
Oh my God.
Kobe Michael, and Michael LeBron.
LeBron Kobe.
Wow.
Or LeBron Michael. I mean, that's
LeBron,
exactly
yeah,
fair.
or LeBron Michael. Like that card right there may be worth more than $4 million. Either one of those.
Jesus.
Actually, the Kobe LeBron or the Jordan LeBron.
Yeah. And well, and they had Kobe Jordan. Well, I can't even imagine.
All right,
about
so
that.
basically what we're saying is go out and try to buy all that 3-4 exquisite you can get your
No, they've been
hands
pulled
on.
up. They've already been pulled. So,
No,
but the problem,
but that
In the
stuff is
Philippines.
that stuff is so readily available. It's just everywhere.
it's everywhere. You can find it at Target. I think these were sold like prior to the group break craze, probably 2009, 2010, they went for a hefty amount. From what I can remember, that it's a little hazy on the stories I've been told, but I think they're in collectors' hands that will probably not sell.
Ooh, there's a price. There's a price point for everything.
There
now.
is, but that probably is that will be that won't be topped, right? I mean, that is the best card of all time. So yes, so if that goes to golden auction, that might beat it. So would the Jordan LeBron be better than the Kobe LeBron?
I say they're on equal footing, especially with Kobe's passing. That the Kobe one actually would be more sought after.
I think with the
my opinion.
I think with the Kobe's passing, it makes the Kobe one more valuable because you never know what's going to happen in this industry.
And Michael could have more logo mans in the future.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen. Panini or Upper Deck can get the license, and they can make a dual logo man of those two players in a current product.
Right.
You never know, that could happen. With the Kobe, there ain't going to be any more Kobe logo man.
Then again, his estate could theoretically give out some of like Kobe's game used jerseys to these companies.
I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm texting him right now, see if I can get an answer while we're on the show.
But I think
he may know where they're at.
You're texting LeBron James?
Yeah. No, I'm texting the creator of Exquisite just to see if he knows where they're at. He may know because it's his baby. He may know where they're at, and I'm just curious to see if those cards will hit the market at some point. Like it's one guy, because I mean you said money does buy everything, right? So if you know that, hey, this
I said there's a price point for everything.
Price, right? Yeah. Well, money does buy everything. I did word that wrong, but if that's a $10 million card, I mean, you could buy so many other 86, 87 Jordans or some other Chrome LeBrons to satisfy your hole for that.
I feel like
hypothetically, do you think either one of those cards is a $10 million card?
Yes.
I do. I actually think they're both. I think they're both around $10 million.
Yes. And we might be lowballing it too.
Yeah. I mean, and the design is fantastic. I mean, it's 03, 04 design, the way that they did everything with the black and the white.
So yeah, I think LeBron is the obvious answer, but what other guys do you guys think has the potential to be in the next like million seller out of that group or out of any players?
Well, we're looking for just a player who can top the $1 million mark.
No, top the $4 million mark. And
potentially.
And I'm not saying.
How about four of those players combined?
I know, right?
Because I think there's a handful of players that we're looking at there that can top the $1 million mark. I think there can be a Mahomes card that's over $1 million. I think there can be a Zion card over $1 million right now.
We're not even talking about the future.
Yeah, but I'm talking about right now. And I think that Tatis, I think one of his card just sold for $222,000. It was a red refractor.
Wow.
That was part of that same auction, the 14 days.
I don't think, and I mean at that point, you look at it. There's 5 of those. The superfractor could be $1 million. And the thing that's crazy about that card is that he's on the White Sox. On that card, he's not even on the team that he currently is on. He's not a Padre. We talk about that all the time. Does the first Bowman prospect card being on a different team than they're currently on, does that affect the value? Obviously, it doesn't.
Not in this case.
Not in this case.
What about the actual White Sox player, Luis Robert?
I got to see a little bit more from him. I don't know. International prospects for me, I haven't seen enough longevity of the data. I mean, we had the Acuna craze last year. Seems like it's died down a little bit. Mike Trout has been baseball cards for the last 10 years. I think it needs to be somebody that signifies the league and signifies baseball cards. I mean, Tatis is doing a lot of great things. I mean, I'm not going to say he's not. He's doing it all. Padres start winning. You could see his superfractor, which I'm not sure if it's been pulled. It probably has. Maybe his superfractor gets close. But, I mean, you're going to have to – I'm not saying next year. I'm saying maybe even 10 years from now. It could happen.
I would say then I would say if we're gonna go that far in the future, Jason Mingus,
Yeah.
because of the fact that he could be the next great player. He plays for the Yankees. So if you actually put it in perspective and hypothetically say that, what if Mike Trout was a Yankee? How much would that card have went for?
See, and I just thought of the problem with that is, and I think this is why sometimes the Yankees guys don't sell for as much, like Judge. Judge sells for a decent amount, but the New York media criticizes these players so hard that I think it puts a negative aspect on their card values. Whether I think you see the Angels and it's like Trout has a bad day, nobody really cares. It's like whatever. The Angels never really are expected to win anyway. And then the next day he goes 4 for 4, and you know what? Nobody even remembers that he went 0 for 4. Now everybody remembers that Aaron Judge broke the consecutive strikeouts. Whatever it was, I don't know how many games it was, but he had a strikeout in every game for like 60 games. It broke a record. Everybody remembers that. So, and it's partly because the New York media is always so hard on their players.
That's true.
Even
That's
Jeter
true.
got criticized. Maybe he was the least criticized, but Don Mattingly, supremely criticized. Johnny Damon went over there, and they were criticizing him for having facial hair. He couldn't have facial hair when he played for the Yankees. So does that affect the card market when you just hear so much negativity from a player? You just don't. The West Coast, like the Giants fans, you don't hear too much.
I get
criticism.
it. I get it. But what if Jason Dominguez comes out and he is Mr. Yankee and he is Derek Jeter, but he's hitting like 50, 60 bombs a year and he's a 5-tool player?
Yeah. Then you won't criticize him.
Yeah. I mean, if Dominguez comes up and he's the best player in the league and he's a Yankee and the Yankees are winning championships, I think the sky is the limit with that guy.
Yep.
When it comes to the value of his cards.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, bro. I guess so. Like for Yankees players, it's good at when they're like a prospect or a rookie coming up because then they're gonna sell well because they're a Yankee. But then once they play a couple years and the media gets to see how they are, like, and then they start criticizing them, then maybe their value goes down a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Or
all
doesn't
perception.
sustain, right?
Yeah. I actually just thought about that now because you always hear about the New York media. I mean, even with football, like Eli Manning, should he still be on the team? Should he be starting over Daniel Jones? Is he a Hall of Famer? I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's true.
And you see that with the Knicks. The Knicks are a mess. The owner's a mess. The GM's a mess. They can never draft anybody good. They wasted their Carmelo Anthony. Now they don't have anybody on the team. They got rid of Porzingis. It's like it always seems like there's a lot of media pressure on those teams.
A lot of negative media pressure. Yeah.
But Jason Dominguez is coming into a great situation with how good the team is now.
Yeah.
So it could be different. So
And he's probably still about 2 years away.
yeah, he's 17 or 18. He might be 3 years away, but depending on how things go. Well, let's move on to the next topic, which is buy and sell. Buy and sell. So we got some names. We want to hear your guys' response if you're buying, if you're selling, and drop a comment in the YouTube video as well if you'd like. We want to get that interaction in the YouTube comment section. So we're going to start with a little Kyler Murray. Football season's around the corner. I feel like he's not really getting a lot of attention with the new rookie class coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking Joe Burrow, Tua, Justin Herbert's on Hard Knocks. And I think people are forgetting about Kyler. He just got one of the best receivers in the league in DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
So I'll start, and I'm buying Kyler. Dan, what do you think?
I'm buying. Just
Easy.
like that.
It's easy.
Yeah.
I that's only because I watched enough games of him last year to be convinced that he's going to be a pretty good player, and he just needs like you said, better weapons and D-Hop's there now. So, yeah, I'm buying.
And as hard as this is for me to say, and I'm speaking for Dan here as well, is
they're in your division.
Well, the NFL is structured to have a cycle. You have about a 4-year window if you draft a franchise quarterback or if you sign some players that are worth a lot of money. You got the Rams got Jared Goff and Aaron Donald that they had to pay. The Niners have Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle. The Seahawks, Russell Wilson's contract was huge. They've signed some big players. And these are all teams that are kind of already in their 4-year window. So I think at some point, maybe a couple years, I hate to say it, I hope the Niners are good forever, but at some point, those teams are going to drop off and they're going to have to restart rebuilding. And you have Kyler, who's on a rookie contract. I think they did pretty good with D-Hop and getting him. And they've got some pieces around. They've got a young coach, a coach that's been compared to McVay, who's been compared to Shanahan, young-minded offensive coach in Kingsbury. And I think you're going to see the Cardinals in a couple of years being NFC West leaders. And I think you'll see them perform this year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be at 8-8-ish. But I think they're going to get good, and they're going to have – I think this guy's going to have some –
He's going to put up big numbers.
Yeah, he's going to have like a game where he has 4 or 5 touchdowns and maybe runs for 2 touchdowns. Crazy. You're going to see some crazy highlight reel plays.
I think they actually do make the play. I don't know if they win the division, but I think they do make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they make the playoffs. I don't. I mean, I think there's going to be 2 teams that are going to make the playoffs out of that division, and I think the Cardinals are going to be one of them.
Matt says he's definitely buying C-Rad's WrestleMania T-shirt, so it's going to hit the auction block. Golden auction is going to start the bid. It's going to be $1,000. So that'll be on the next round of golden auctions.
I'll just wait for our merch drop. You
Yep.
guys gonna love it.
Yeah, that's going to be happening. So next guy, and you can see actually before we move on, you can see a Kyler Murray red zone ticket variation out of the first off the line version sold for $4,800.
That's
for
probably one of the
Contenders.
cleanest one to get because it's team color.
Yep. Yeah, I love the first off the line Contenders autos, and
It's actually a really good deal.
yeah,
Did
that seems pretty good.
Did you buy that?
I missed on that one. So next is Ronald Acuna, who's off to a slower start. Buying or selling? Start with Dan.
Oh man, I'm selling on Acuna. I'm selling on Acuna because there's a lot of really good talent in baseball right now, young talent. So I'm selling him right now.
What do you think, C-Rad?
Selling Acuna as well.
Acuna.
It probably is Acuna.
Hey,
I mean, the only thing that keeps me not wanting to, I'm kind of in the middle, and I've already sold some Acuna, is that they are in first place. And, he does anything in the playoffs, hopefully he runs out fly balls and stuff like that and doesn't think everything's a homer. But, if this guy does some stuff in his upcoming playoffs, and maybe the Braves win the World Series, you do have a potential for a little bit of an uptick. But we already did experience selling it. So you guys have probably heard us tell this story, but we're going to tell it again. There's obviously some new listeners.
I'd sell it again.
So me and Dan, we usually open a box or 2 of Bowman when it comes out. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm a big Bowman guy. So we opened 2017 Bowman and opening it up and, Ronald Acuna. Or I don't even know how to say his name. Cool. Blue auto. That's cool. He plays for the Braves. Cool. Goes in a shoebox forever.
In a sleeve.
In a sleeve at least. And in a shoebox, not like a Jordan shoebox, like a card shoebox. I'll reiterate that.
Two or three row.
Two row. So it goes into the back of the old shop, and then obviously Acuna gets hyped and he starts doing well. And we're like thinking, I think we pulled a blue. I think it was like a year and a half ago that we got a blue for ourselves. I think it's somewhere in there. So we spent a couple weeks looking for it, kind of gave up. Then I think a couple months later, we looked again. We found it. We did a little, celebration dance that we found it. Sent it to BGS. Wound up getting a 9.510 on a blue refractor, first Bowman Ronald Acuna. We sold it on eBay, best offer for $5,800.
Woo!
We then bought a 2009 Trout base auto, 910. For the same price, basically. I think it was $6,100, and I believe the Trout is like 15 to 20 grand with that recent sale. So
lovely.
So sometimes I lean towards buying the guys that are proven. Ronald Acuna.
That's always the safest strategy, guys.
It may not. You may not go from $1 to $1,000,
Yeah.
but you may go from like $5,000 to $7,000 to $8,000.
It won't be sexy, but when you stick with the guys that are proven, you're gonna make money, bro.
Yeah.
You're gonna make money.
Yeah, I mean, taking these long shots on like Bobo and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's gambling. That's real gambling.
It doesn't pay. It only pays off like 5% of the time, right? So, moving on, Jason Tatum.
It's fun, but it's gambling.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's for sure. And then you're like, I was wrong again.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum. Celtics look really good. I've always been a fan of Jason Tatum. C-Rad, buying or selling Jason Tatum?
Easy buy. He's the next Black Mama.
Yes, I'm buying Jaylen Brown. Oh wait, we're talking Jason Tatum. Dude, I mean I've seen him play a lot. He's good. He's good. Do I think he's one of the best in the league? Nah,
He will be.
I don't think so. I'm selling Jason Tatum.
It's hard for me, and we've got this screenshot of a recent 17-18 Prism Silver of Jason Tatum, which I do have one. I actually we have a 9.5, not a PSA 10.
So it looks better.
No one Lucas go for. I might want to pick one of these up.
Well,
man.
PSA sells for higher, but the stats are in the.
But the slab itself, physically, it's like a toy. It's like a Fisher Price My First Slab card.
If you guys didn't already understand, Dan is a BGS. Like if we were
aficionado.
If we were having a national convention, he'd be at the BGS national convention, and I'd be at the PSA national convention.
And I'd be at the CRAD 6.5 counter grading service.
So, but at 5,588, and I think the pop is, I think it's around 2,000. We had the numbers up there.
Not too bad.
That's a little high for a non-numbered card for me. I would consider selling it at that price. If you have a numbered Tatum or if you have a RPA Tatum, I wouldn't sell. But I don't know. Silvers are just going so crazy where it's like I consider every silver available to sell at this point. So, I mean, that's a lot of money for a non-numbered card. And was selling for about $200-300 his rookie year. So let's keep that in mind. So, next player, let's switch over to baseball. We've got Cody Bellinger. And I'm going to try to take my personal preference out of this. Cody Bellinger, recent card of his, gold refractor, sold for $1,500 unautographed. With Mookie Betts now on the team, I think I'm selling Cody Bellinger.
Is Mookie Betts staying long term though?
You got to think that they did 10 years.
Yeah, they signed him.
Okay.
They signed him, yeah.
Okay.
Cody Bellinger, Dan.
I'm selling. He is struggling this year. Like
he looked
his
bad
batting average is low. I'm selling. I hate. Well, it also depends on. Again, hypothetically, when did I buy these cards? What am I taking a loss on them?
True.
Like if
you bought it high, you might want to keep it.
Yeah, if I bought it high, I'd probably keep it. But
I'm pretty sure nobody spent $1,500 on a gold non-auto 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm selling. I'm selling Bellinger right now.
Yeah, and the next guy, we'll lead this off here with Luka Doncic. Had the big game, had a hurt ankle, went out there, scored 40 points, hit the game winner, which was
50% Luka is better than 90% of the NBA, which is pretty scary.
40 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists with a hurt leg, up there with Charles Barkley and Oscar Robertson. Before we show you the price of the Prism, I want to hear your thoughts, C-Rad, on Luka. And I know you've sang the song hundreds of times, pulling his card hundreds of times.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Luka. I've never wavered. Since his rookie year. I've always thought he was going to be pretty good, and he actually obviously is really good. So for me, if I don't even like. There was customers in the chat room the other day when he went off for triple-double and hit the game winner. There's a lot of people looking for a silver Prism, and I was telling them, I was like, these are going to go up, and these are people are going to raise their price instantly, and a couple guys got them at something decent. I think way less than what you're about to show on the screen. So some people came up for sure. For me, it's buy.
Dan, what do you think?
Oh, 100%, without a doubt, I am selling.
You've been selling Luka for the past 2 years, bro.
Man, selling hard.
How do you sell hard?
I have no idea, but I am selling.
Oh man.
I am
if Luka was a stock and you were shorting him, you'd probably be down like $1 million, right?
Probably, but no doubt he's a good player. I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him.
Is it the athleticism that you don't like?
I just can't. I can't see. I watch him play, and like around the basket, he I mean, there's no doubt he scores, but it doesn't look very fluid. It doesn't look good.
That's where you're. I mean, I agree with you that he's slow, but it's in a rhythm.
No,
rhythm base.
dude, it's kind of, and again, like he's way more athletic than I am, but he's kind of clunky on the court. Does that make sense?
I don't think he's clunky.
He's kind of clunky.
He's been compared to Larry Bird, James Harden, and LeBron James, which none of those guys are clunky.
It's funny because I was watching the Allen Iverson documentary that just came out maybe a couple years ago.
The one where they talk about where he got in trouble and stuff.
Right after watching a Mavericks game, and I'm watching the moves of Allen Iverson, and I'm all, that guy's fluid. That guy.
I mean, if you go from what, yeah, I mean,
I'm sitting there watching that, and I'm all, damn, that guy has got some handles. And I look at Luka, and I'm like, how the hell is this guy even in the league? And then I'm like, and then he puts up 40
skills, bro.
Skills. So there's no doubt he can score, but like, I just don't see it.
I think he's going to be a top player in the league. Now, if you see the screen with the two sales recently, and I don't know if these got paid. Obviously, that's one of the question marks. These both sold on August 25th, but a PSA 10 silver for $16,000 is absolutely ludicrous for me. So if you have one of those, I really don't think it could go up any further than that. Especially if you look at the pop report. I know you're playing
a dangerous game, bro.
No, I mean, I'm not. I would sell, but like, I look at the value of the card, and I agree with you. Yeah. But I absolutely would not be surprised if we come back next week and that card sells. Not like next week. if next week, say they knock
$30,000 card.
Say they knock off the Clippers, it's a $25,000 card.
You know, they're
not going to knock off the Clippers.
Yeah, they're not. They're most likely, the Clippers have that series. I think like they've always been projected to take that series regardless. But there's moments in basketball where people do things that you remember forever. And Luka's just starting to cement his place in the league. And what he did the other night was special. And I said right after he did that, I was like, he's starting to get into the territory of Giannis, where it's like, it doesn't matter at this point what he's going to be doing. His prices will just keep going up, because like, look at what Giannis has done so far in his career. Not much, right? But just be a really great player.
But
regular season player.
Could you say that when everything's said and done, he is going to be recognized as a better player than Dirk?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm pretty confident about that.
Is that just route like monster you got over there? Is there something else in there?
Damn.
Dirk was amazing. Was amazing. But Luka,
and we look at the value of cards. Like, if there was, rookie silver prisms when Dirk was
1999,
there's Topps Chrome.
No, I'm talking like.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Okay. Dirk, let's see. I don't know if they had any refractors though. I think he
had refractors.
Did he?
He had refractors.
Let's see. Maybe Dirk Nowitzki.
Actually, I don't think he had a rookie card.
Dirk never sold. He never sold like.
I don't think
like how
he did. He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Let's see. I'm just on the fly here. I just want to know what Dirk Nowitzki sells for. Base PSA 8 for $79.
Where's all the high end stuff, bro? There you go.
So there you go. Chrome refractor, but it's a pop 1 of 12, sold for $16,000.
Which makes sense, because if Damian only has less than 100, and Dirk should have if there's only 12 PSA 10s of Dirk, that makes sense, right?
Right, but there's 4,000 Luka Doncics at that price. So that's the concerning part, right? Is that so? Dirk won 2 championships or only 1?
I'm actually.
I know he won one.
One,
right?
He's almost won. He almost won 2. My thing is that those these higher numbers for the current prisms, 1890 and 1920, they actually don't scare me, because there's still such a larger demand for them than there is of supply still, even at those crazy numbers compared to previous years.
Right now, though, I mean, that could change in 10 years.
It could. Yeah, I mean, when you look back, like we said, the Damian less than 100 copies. That's in 10 years, like that, that's gonna be still gonna be probably like around 100, and there's not gonna be much of it.
It should that should hold
that dirt should actually go up in 10 years, like double at least, with only being 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got we have a question in the chat and then we're actually running overtime here. We're supposed to be doing the Immaculate right now. So we'll end the show here real quick. But Matt asks, any younger baseball prospects you like? Adley, but what about Hunter Bishop, Will Wilson, Andrew Vaughn, or Forrest Whitley? I like Andrew Vaughn, and I do like Hunter Bishop. I mean, Hunter Bishop took like the same path from high school to college as Barry Bonds. Now he's on the Giants. Obviously, Barry went to the Pirates first, but I like him, and I like Andrew Vaughn getting into that system with all those hitters. So, but it's still too early on those guys. We got to see some more action. But off the gate, I like those two.
Yeah, I've been talking about Andrew Vaughn for a while. I think he's in the right situation.
Yeah.
So I would Hunter Bishop. I don't know. I don't know yet. I think the Giants just brought up Joey Bart a little early. You can see that he's kind of struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, you look at like prospects, and sometimes it might be best for them to sit in the minors for like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
3 full seasons. Obviously depends on what position they're playing.
Yep. And then the last guys, recent, and they're playing each other, Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray. So some guys that have had some good games as of late. And you see a couple of their cards. You got Donovan Mitchell, PSA 10 that recently sold for $2,200, which seems really low.
Really low compared to Tatum, bro.
Yeah, really
Damn,
low.
you might want to pick up some Donovans.
And Jamal Murray, which this is an optic rated rookie gold that sold for $2,900. And Jamal Murray's always been low for me. He's always been underlooked on that team. I think at some point probably Michael Porter was outselling Jamal Murray, which probably shouldn't have happened. But what's your take? Buy or we'll just give this one to C-Rat since he's a basketball guy. Buy or sell on both those gentlemen?
Buy Donovan. Jamal Murray is still kind of an X factor to me. Like, obviously we've seen him play great playoff basketball this year, but can he do it consistently? That's the question still out on that. But buy for sure on Donovan Mitchell. I'm not gonna necessarily say buy or sell on Jamal Murray yet, but I have to see more. I do like him. He's one of the kind of like a better 16, 17 rookies right now at this point. So yeah. That's where I'm at.
Well, that's all we have for the show. We do have Bowman Transcendent coming up. We've got only 29 spots left, so get your spot. Like I said, there's some big things to hit in that. Every spot is guaranteed a card at least. So you got an invitation that's valued at, I heard somebody was trying to buy them for $5,000. There's a guaranteed 1-of-1 Jordan or Vlad Guerrero autograph, and they use the different Bowman designs. There's a graded buyback, which I just seen a Hank Aaron 1955 Bowman pulled. There's an additional autographed 55 Superfractor of, could be Jason Dominguez, could be Andrew Vaughn, could be Bobby Witt. You don't know. There's also a cut auto, and the cut auto checklist is fantastic. So there's some really big cards, 229, lots of upside. Like I said, even if you hit like a Sam Huff or Cabrian Hayes, you never know. They could be stars in the league in the next few years. So, but check it out. Fill it up. Out of 85, we only have 29 spots left, so get in on that. That is breaking after Immaculates. And stay tuned. We're going to shut the feed down for a minute. We're going to hop back on. C-Rod's going to break some Immaculate for you guys, and then we'll get into that Bowman Transcendent. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening to The Hype, episode 151. Make sure you comment below on what we said earlier to win a $100 group break credit, and you get yourself into a nice break. So, all right, guys, peace out.
What is that? Yeah, so you can buy them and resell it for